This is like the third time I've tried to shoot this video, so I'm just going to see what I can do. It's late and I've had a couple rum nogs, leftovers from the festivities, so I'm a little intoxicated and just a little tired. So hopefully I don't make a total fool of myself. But I've been doing some research, personal research on human consciousness. It's been kind of a pet project of mine, and it's taken me into some really odd directions. Speaking of odd directions, there. Okay. From research into consciousness, it went into conscious expansion, and that research led me to a speaker, scholar named Terence McKenna, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with if they're familiar with psilocybin or any hallucinogens, because apparently that's the next step, which I've done some research into hallucinogens and what parts they play on the brain and probable parts of evolution, which led me to Christianity. Evolution, Christianity, you can see the link. There's a book that I found, and it's an old book. Is it The Cross and the Sacred Mushroom, or The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross? Sacred Mushroom and the Cross. I'm reading a review of it, an old review. These are all really, really old books, and it's amazing that I haven't heard more about these. Especially some of the stuff that's come out of it, if it's true. Maybe it's not true. I've been doing some research, and it's starting to pan out for the most part. But in the review, what was his name? The review is called Christ and the Sacred Mushroom, so close to the same title. And that's by David York. The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross is by Jan Allegros. I'll try and put some links up in the side somewhere, wherever those are. They're free download ebooks. But some of the apparently John Allegro was a linguist, and he wanted to know what the original meaning to the words were, because I guess they're both it was in ancient cuneiform or an ancient Hebrew, an Aramaic. So he went back to the original text and found out what the words meant at the time that they put it in the book. And from his research, apparently the original Christians were a sex cult, where God was the giant phallus in the sky. Oh, sex and mushroom, psychedelic mushroom cult, where God was a giant phallus in the sky, and rain would come down. The semen would come down in the form of rain, fertilize the earth, and the fertilized earth would bring forth the plant life, vegetables and such. So that was one aspect that he saw, and there was a lot of sex cults back then, so, and still are, I guess. I mean, if you're going to have a cult, have sex. But apparently the names, one of the names I thought was kind of telling was the name Moses. The cuneiform meaning at the time that they wrote Moses meant emergent snake, or snake emerging. So it was apparently a reference to mushrooms. I guess after the storm, after a thunderstorm, the mushrooms would grow and it would look like a snake coming up out of the ground. And there was also reference to mushrooms not having seed, and he kind of tried to link that to the virgin birth. One of the other telling, or interesting, I thought, names was Jesus Christ. Of course, Christ meaning the Anointed One, and Jesus meaning, I guess Jesus and several other things meant semen. Jesus means semen. So Jesus Christ and Christianity apparently according to him, directly translate into semen smeared. Go figure. I'm sure Christians everywhere are going to go, "Ugh!" So, good on them. But I'm curious, I'm just coming across this, and it's fascinating reading. I mean, it's very exciting to read. It's a little dated. Some of the language you can tell is a little dated, but if this has any traction whatsoever as far as what the actual words meant at the time they were written, I hear a lot of YouTube Christians proclaiming the historical value and literal value of the Bible as proof. If there's a way for anyone to take that proof and go, okay, the original Word of God in its original meaning was closer to the truth, then let's go back and find out what the original words were and what the original meanings were. And at the point that you're saying, well, Jesus Christ was just a allegory for a mushroom, and God was a giant penis in the sky that rained down semen, and the whole thing was about the psychedelic mushroom, it would give them one less leg to stand on. It sounds a little outrageous, although I suppose not more outrageous than an invisible man in the sky controlling everything. So, I guess I just kind of want to know what people think. Have you heard of these books? Have you read these books? And what do you think of them? Let me know.